Welcome to the Insurance Wise Guy podcast. My name is Mike Lewis, insurance agency owner for Archibald & Lewis Insurance, and your Insurance Wise Guy. On today's episode of Know, Like, and Trust, we have Bev Grzych with BKM Real Estate.
Okay.
All right. Everyone help me welcome Bev Grzych of BKM Real Estate. Bev has been a multi-million-dollar producer since 1997. Bev, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks,
Great.
Mike.
Great. So turn back the clock with me a little bit and tell me where you were and what you were doing before real estate.
Okay, well, it's a lot of years to go back. When I first graduated high school, I started out working in offices. I worked at Franklin Electric. I worked at Peyton's Northern. Got married, had my 2 sons, and then I decided I wanted to stay home for a while. So I was an at-home mom for a few years, and then I started in sales as a Mary Kay consultant and worked my way up to a Mary Kay director with those pink cars, and had a lot of fun doing that for a lot of years. And then I decided to go get my real estate license.
So what year was it that Mary Kay started?
Mary Kay was way back in 1985.
85.
Yeah.
Okay. And how old were the boys?
Cale actually was right before he turned 1. He was born in 85, and I started in June, I think, of 85. And he was born in 85, so somewhere around in there,
You
85,
had a
86.
good run for Mary Kay then, yeah. So what now it's 1997, and you're still in Mary Kay. The boys are a little older. What transitioned you from that to real estate?
Well, I've always kind of been doing sales one way or another, it seemed like, since I got out of high school. And I don't know, I went in and talked to a local broker and just asked him some questions about the real estate business. And I kind of liked what I heard. And so I decided to enroll and take the classes. And I just got real excited about it. I grew up in Wells County my whole life, so I felt like, this was where I wanted to do the real estate business. And almost 3 years later, here I am.
Mm-hmm. So real estate school, who did you go
I went to the Bob Troyer
Bob Troyer.
Real Estate School. Yep, went to classes at Belmont High School.
Belmont High School.
2,
That's where
3
the
nights
classes
a
were.
week. Yep. And
so Troyer's still a big real estate school.
they are
for
still.
Sure.
Yes, yeah. He got me through it and passed all those tests. And I hadn't taken any tests for a lot of years. I'd been out of high school for a few years when I went back to get my real estate license, and I wasn't quite sure I was going to be able to do it, but it's been a lot of fun.
So from your start in real estate, tell me who you started with, I guess, at that time then.
I started way back then with Bill McBride, and he is the one that I went in and sat down and talked with, asked a lot of questions, and before I left that day, he offered me a job.
Yep.
He said, if you go to school and you decide you want to do this, I'd love for you to come and work for me. And that honestly is what gave me that boost of courage that, hey, he thinks I can do this. So, I think I can too.
So going from that time to where you are now, you're at BKM now, what did it take to get from there to where you're at now?
Well, lots and lots of nights and weekends. Real estate isn't a 9 to 5, of course. It's pretty much 24/7. But I like that. I really enjoy people. And I think you have to really like to work with the public and like people, and I do. I also think you have to care about their needs. And I try not to look at the individual sales so much as getting people the home that is going to be their dream home, maybe, or the one they want to raise their family in. And that has always been forefront to me, because I feel like in small town, you've got to make people happy and have integrity and ethics when you work this business. And because of that, I've gotten lots and lots of referrals. And that is really what has gotten me where I am now, is my former clients, my family, my friends, people like yourself, who've referred people to me. I appreciate that, and that's how I've built this business.
Yeah,
really.
absolutely. So people person, that's the biggest thing. But what do you suppose makes you different in that aspect than the other agents that would be in the business?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I hope that I'm approachable. I hope that people see me as a very approachable person. I always feel like that when I get done. I just left a closing a few minutes ago, and one of the things they always say to me is, you always answered all of our questions. We could always get a hold of you. You know, it didn't matter if it was a Sunday night at 9:30 in the evening or if it was a Monday morning at 7 a.m. If we texted you or we called you, you know, you always returned our calls right away and answered
I think
the
that's
questions.
the biggest thing, honestly. Communication with someone, even if you maybe don't have the answer right then, the fact that you at least communicated with them and let them know that.
It's a stressful time. It's a stressful transaction,
Buying a
buying and
home.
selling a home. It really is. And when my clients get upset, and they do at times over things, I don't ever take it personally, because they're not upset with you normally. They're just frustrated, you know, with the situation. And so I think that helps to kind of have broad shoulders and not take it personally, because it is a stressful, very stressful time.
So in all that time, you say about 23 years now, what would you say is the biggest success or the most thing that you're the proudest of?
I think it's the repeat business.
Yeah.
You know, the clients that just come back and come back and come back, and then they send me their kids and their grandkids. And I've worked with 3 generations in 23 years with a lot of my clients. And that makes you feel good.
That does
you
make
know,
you feel good.
when you get that call and they say, hey, my grandson's going to be calling you, or my granddaughter, or my, you know, my daughter.
That makes you feel good then that you took care of them and you're taking care
Yes.
of them going forward as well too.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
So this has been a tough year, 2020, with COVID-19 coming in. Most people that I talked to had a stellar year going up until spring break, and then spring break happened, everything shut down. How has that affected you and the real estate business as a whole since that has happened?
Well, the real estate business as a whole certainly slowed down. It really did. March, April, you know, I'd say mid-March, you know, to probably end of April. It certainly slowed down, and I think I was at home probably for about 2 to 4 weeks. But I was fortunate because I had a lot kind of in the hopper, you know, so to speak, transactions that were happening. But what I did see, and what is still happening, is a lot of those transactions have not closed in 30 days, like the norm. We've had a lot of transactions because of COVID, whether people got laid off or you know, were waiting to get called back to work then before they could close. I've had several that probably have taken closer to 60 days and even plus to close because of the COVID.
And that's everything then, from appraisals to inspections, and just all of that's causing delays?
Yes, a little bit of everything. I mean, right now, appraisers, inspectors, lenders are very, very bogged down because they're doing a lot of refinancing because these rates are so really low right now. And so they're busy with all that, plus our business. And so we are seeing underwriters taking longer to give that final stamp of approval and that clear to close. But yeah, everybody is very, very busy in this business right now. That leads up to that closing day. You know, you as
So
an
it's
inspector.
bouncing back.
I think so. I mean, we're still really, really short on listings. I mean, we need homes.
So we need more listings.
We need listings big time, but we have buyers just sitting, waiting to buy.
So let's say you are getting started in this business today. You've just decided, hey, I see all these real estate agents making all kinds of easy money. I want to get in the business. Now, what would you say to someone starting out in the real estate business? What little nugget, what piece of advice could you give someone?
Make sure you have another full-time job with benefits and a regular paycheck.
Right.
Now is not a good time to get started in real estate. I mean, it really, I'm just being honest, it really truly is not. There's a lot of agents out there, and there's very, very few listings. So if you don't have a clientele build up, if I would not have had a 23-year client referral base, I wouldn't be having a great year right now. I mean, I just don't see how I could,
Right.
because the listings are so few and far between. So it's tough to get started right now in a sales industry where you work strictly on commission.
So much has changed in that time. Even a dozen years ago, people were still going into an office, looking at a book, asking you what's for sale. That has changed so much to online searches.
Yeah.
What would you say to someone to start building that clientele? How would they even jump in, even with a full-time job? How would they do that?
You really got to get out there and talk to people. You've got to let everybody you know, friends, family, relatives, everybody, you have to let them know what you're doing. And you are going to be the newbie out there. So that's tough. Anytime you're new in a particular job, it doesn't matter whether it's real estate or whatever it is, you're the newbie, and it's hard. Some people put it out there on the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, those kind of things, and hope to get followers that way, letting people know. But back in my day when we started, it was all word of mouth. You passed out your cards.
Yeah.
You passed out your business cards. I'm not so sure a lot of agents even hardly use business cards anymore.
Right.
But it's tough to get started in any kind of sales now.
So your center of influence, your circle, your family, start there.
Yeah.
And just let people know what you're doing.
Let people know what you're doing, and you got to be available.
Yeah.
Because if a house pops up on the market right now, day 0, and you've got a client that wants to see it, you better get them in there on day 0.
And that's the hard part too when you have a full-time job.
That is hard. That is hard. So that's why it's a real balancing act. You better at least have a part-time job, so you have some income coming in, or maybe a spouse, that has a good full-time job. I was always fortunate. I always said my husband's got a real job. He brings home a paycheck every week, and that was nice for me because I didn't have that pressure of being the sole breadwinner, but now he's getting ready to retire.
Good for
So
him.
yeah, I'll be the sole breadwinner.
Good for him. Good for him. So tell me one last success story, something that's happened in your career of real estate, either the fastest sale you ever had or the most money beyond asking price. Just tell me a quick story about that.
Oh my goodness. We've had so many recently that have brought over asking. And I think the deal that I was involved in that had the most offers on it was actually about 1.5 years ago. And it wasn't my listing, but I had a buyer who made an offer on this property, and it had 15 offers on it. It was just a middle of the road house, I think it was listed around 125, and it actually brought 150 something.
Wow.
So it was 25,000. It was kind of in the beginning of this big jump in the market. So it was probably closer to 2 years ago. And it actually brought over 25,000 over asking, which was just crazy cuckoo beans to me at the time. But now it's just continued to roll like that. But it's kind of scary, when 1,250 square foot homes that are 3 bedrooms, maybe 2 baths, maybe 2 car garage, are bringing 145 to 155. And 5 years ago, we were getting 89.
Wow.
I mean, that's fact.
Do you see a bubble bursting there? I mean,
It almost has to.
Think? Yep.
It almost has to. I mean, the rates are just so low, and there's just no rentals right now for people in our Wells County area. There's so few rental properties, and I think that's why people are driving. Prices are being driven up. Lack of inventory, lack of rental, housing, and it's just driving the prices up.
Supply and demand.
It's all about supply and demand. It is.
So tell the people how to get a hold of you.
You can reach me anytime on my cell phone at 260-466-1822. You can text me, you can call me, you can email me at bev@bkmrealestate.com. But the best way to get me is honestly the text or the phone call.
Good deal. Thanks, Bev. Everyone
Thank you,
else,
Mike.
if a new home is your wish, call Bev Grzych.
Thank you.